Hey there, you comic readers. Today we will be doing something different. As you can see, I have some assortment of books which are spread over here. And today we will not do any review or overview, but we will look at one edition of How to Collect Classics, which is the Barnes and Noble Leatherbound Classics. And I'll show my collection, which includes now 5 books, and I plan to expand the collection in future. So we'll look at each books one by one. And these are all books which are in the public domain. That means they can be published by any writers, and in the future videos I might look at other editions to collect classics, which is other name by which they are known. And there are many editions of these books available, and I will try to look at the pros and cons of the Barnes and Noble editions over the other editions. We'll just sneak a look at other editions when we are through this video. This was my first Barnes and Noble Leatherbound classic. It is called Leatherbound, but it is not original leather, as you might suspect, or it's a fox leather, which is like it's 20% leather and other synthetic stuff. This was my first book, The Complete Tales and Poems of Edgar Allan Poe. There is another Knickerbocker classic of the same book available, which is much less costly because it is not leather and it's a seat-cased edition. And here is the end page, which includes the famous raven. Also the cover has the same raven with the quote, "Nevermore." Raven is the Edgar Allan Poe's most famous poem and also his most famous work, if you have not heard of it. And this collects the complete tales and poems of Edgar Allan Poe. And this end paper is nice. The page quality, I assume it's acid free. I think so, it's acid free. And so, but not of archival quality, so it may last your entire lifetime without yellowing, but it won't last generations or anything if you're going for that. Covered work was done in 2015. There was an older edition of Edgar Allan Poe's the same with the different cover. I'll try to show it. This is the 2015 edition. There is no reprint or anything, yes, but I bought it recently. And here are the contents. The first is introduction to Edgar Allan Poe and all his poems and all his stuff. You can see here. The paper quality is not so great. And here there is also one prose poem, the narrative. It's almost like a novel of Edgar Allan Poe. There's a title index, which is great. And here is the introduction. This is an introduction mostly to Edgar Allan Poe, not his work as usual. It's a short introduction, not much compared to the Everyman Labor introduction. And here is the font size. It's a good font, you can read comfortably. Now I don't know which order the poems are arranged. I assume it's a chronological order. And as you can see, there's in bright light there is some. You can see some of the pages with some of the letters of the page which is bad, and here are some explanatory notes, which is great for poems. And the paper quality for the price point, which is approximately like 2000 rupees and all, you might expect more paper quality from Barnes and Nobles, but since this was like the most complete edition, and also I love this, the leather stuff, fox leather, I thought of doing it. And this much is the poem, and here's the fiction. The rest of the book is the fiction, and all of Edgar Allan Poe's mysterious works are in this. There are no explanatory notes for the fiction stories, and there is no need, only for the poems it is there. As don't be mistaken by this was the illustration included in the story. There are no other illustrations. And here is a novel narrative, Father God and Pim of Naked. And the back also has the same end page. And there's a short note about the author, which is the same as there is a poetry index. And here is the back. Quoth the raven, nevermore. And if you can go to YouTube and hear the Christopher Lee edition of Raven, then read this book along with it. It's awesome. And this book has silver gilded edges at every side. Now some of the glitter might fall to your hands. I do not have it now, but at first there was a severe problem like that, so don't try to open the book all at first. Now let's look at the other editions. Here is the Jane Austen 7 novels. It is in paper. The paper quality is the same as that of Edgar Allan Poe stuff. The font size is a little more smaller, I guess. And all her 7 novels and Pride and Prejudice, Mansfield Park. This is also acid for the paper, and there is an introduction to her work by Sarah G. France, and there are no illustrations in here also. And binding is alright, it's Smithsonian binding. As you can see here, it's great binding. The book lays complete, and you can see, and this is the gold gilded edges of the book. I bought this because you get all of Jane Austen's works in one volume. And one problem I have with this edition is there is this flimsy sticker at the back which gets off quite easily. And as a collector, you don't want that. This is also fox leather, even though it doesn't look like that at first sight. It's fox leather. When you feel it, you can understand that. And the end pages at the back are also same, as the same as Edgar Allan Poe stuff. And here it is, the most famous Barnes and Noble edition, perhaps, of this H.P. Lovecraft complete fiction. This is not his complete work, as I believed at first. This is just his complete fiction work, which is his ghost stories, horror stories. H.P. Lovecraft is the master of cosmic horror, and the cover is, it's good for that. It conveys the sort of cosmic stuff. It's Cthulhu? No, it's Cthulhu. You might know of the Cthulhu stuff which he made. Actually, the Call of Cthulhu is included here. You can see here. That's his most famous story. But entire Cthulhu mythos is that how you pronounce Cthulhu? I'm not sure. Anyway, but Call of Cthulhu as a story, when I read it, I felt underwhelmed because it's not so much of stuff you might want from horror, but the Cthulhu mythos has then been expanded by many other people. Notably, I have read some of the Alan Moore works which expanded. Here is the introduction, which is by S.T. Joshi, who is like, when S.T. Joshi says something about H.P. Lovecraft, it's authentic, and it's the most authorial voice you can hear. And here has notes written for each of the stories, as you can see here. Contains all his work. We can pause at where I showed the contents to see. Because of the this gilded edges, this is also silver gilded edges, as you can see here. There's some sticking of pages together. The pages are thin, as the editions are all similar, I guess, in that retrospect. And there is also one special feature which was not found in other. There is the supernatural horror literature, where you can see all the cosmic horrors and others, to how to follow to the stuff of H.P. Lovecraft if you want more of these areas. Now H.P. Lovecraft is not for everyone, I guess, because he is a very racist guy. This contain all the horror stories of H.P. Lovecraft, and there is also Knickerbocker Classic available for this, and also one Necronomicon, the horror book which was introduced by H.P. Lovecraft. There is an edition, Necronomicon edition of H.P. Lovecraft, which contains all the same contents as this book, and you can go for that, or you can go for Everyman's Library stuff. It's much better. Here is Middlemarch by George Eliot. This is the only single novel which I own in Barnes and Noble. I don't know why I bought this stuff, because it seems so good when looking at Amazon. It's a good cover, the fox leather. And these are then papers, and there is no introduction in this book, which is a bummer, I guess. It's also the silver foiled edges which you get in Edgar Allan Poe and HP Lovecraft. There are many other good editions. Oh, I forgot to mention, each of these books have their own ribbon mark. I forgot to show it to you. The ribbon bookmark is there for each of these books. And this is how the font looks, and I'm not too comfortable with this font. The font for Edgar Allan Poe was alright, but for the novels, this Middlemarch and Jane Austen novel, I'm not so comfortable with. The same. And this is the back. There is no quotation or anything anywhere. It's a small book compared to the rest because it's not a compendium of all the work of George Eliot or something. It's just a single novel. Here is the spine. Now we come to my favorite Barnes & Noble's Leatherbound Classic Edition, and this is so awesome. This, if I don't know if you can appreciate it in the video, but the design is sick, man. There is these creases like real leather would make, but real leather books will cost you a fortune. Like it costs around 20,000 rupees. And this is the Brontë Sisters 3 novels, which includes Jane Eyre by Charles Brontë, Wuthering Heights by Emily Brontë, Agnes Grey by Anne Brontë. All these are their first works respectively. While I am not so happy with the inclusion of Agnes Grey, because Anne Brontë's best work is Tenant of the Wildfell Hall, which is not included in this volume. And it has gold spine like the Jane Austen one. Does all the Victorian literature have that? No, Middlemarch doesn't have it. So all the work by women have that. Oh, that's too sexist. Anyway, and here is a end paper. That's a beautiful end paper, and font is similar to Jane Austen and Middlemarch, which I'm not too comfortable with. The page quality, it is somewhat thicker than the Jane Austen one or the Edgar Allan Poe one. And here is a bookmark, ribbon bookmark, which is nice. Silk looking ribbon bookmark. And spine is, as always, is nice for these type of books. Overall, I would say if you are into leather looking books or fox leather books, you might enjoy the Barnes & Noble. I won't recommend this wholeheartedly because there are many other editions of classics at cheaper cost and more content, like say Everyman's Library. This is his dark material. I'll do a overview sometime else, but this is much more cheaper than the Barnes & Noble edition, and also this also has acid free paper and also the Smithsonian binding, and there is a bookmark also, but it is much cheaper. You can go for that for the Jane Austen stuff. But Barnes & Noble, if you own any of it, it's great to look at in your shelf, and lining all them spines up together would bring you joy, I guess. But I want to recommend the HP Lovecraft and Edgar Allan Poe and Brontë Sisters, their editions, because that's so nice and you might want to see it. I know I have been rambling on for some time, but this is it. Okay. And these are all my Barnes & Noble Leatherbound classics. Sometimes I may expand them, but most likely I won't, because I'm not too fond with this format, even though it looks so nice, because of the high price, and you can get the same content at much more cheaper prices at somewhere else. If we can go for Penguin Clothbound Classics, I will show that to you in some other video, or we can go for Puffin Clothbound Classics. The most beautiful way you can own a classic is of course Folio Society, which is like really expensive but worth it. My Folio Society shipment is on its way, and I will do an unboxing when it comes, and so you can all see that. So that's all for today, guys. Thank you for watching. Please hit the like button and the subscribe button. That's all, you comic readers. Bye. Okay, I should change the name to comic. These are novels, not comics. Anyway, I am planning to do some more novel reviews, some anime reviews, some movie reviews, some cartoon reviews and all. So for all pop culture stuff, look into my channel, right? So bye.